What if you were suddenly thrust into a world of financial uncertainty, religious conflict, and inhumane living conditions? How would you cope? A chilling thought, isn't it? Yet this is the grim reality for millions of people around the globe. Today we are about to embark on a journey to explore three critical global crises that continue to shape our world and affect lives on a massive scale. First, we'll delve into the financial burdens at borders, a crisis that sees countless people fighting for survival while trapped in the limbo of migration. Next, we'll navigate the tumultuous terrain of religious wars, conflicts that have scarred our history and continue to ignite divisions among us. Finally, we'll shine a light on the inhumane living crises, a silent but devastating struggle experienced by those in extreme poverty, war zones, and refugee camps. Join us as we delve into these major global crises. Let's take a step towards understanding and, hopefully, towards finding solutions. Imagine being forced to leave your homeland, only to face insurmountable financial burdens at your destination's borders. Let's take a moment to delve into the story of Amina, a courageous woman who had to flee her native land due to an escalating conflict. With her 3 children in tow, she embarked on an arduous journey dreaming of a safe haven. But upon reaching the borders of her destination, she was greeted not with open arms, but with a hefty financial burden. The border fees, they called it. A fee that for many of us might seem trivial, but for Amina, it represented a significant portion of her meager savings. However, this was just the tip of the iceberg. Once past the border, Amina discovered that her financial woes were far from over. She needed to secure housing, food, and basic necessities, all while dealing with inflated prices due to the influx of refugees like herself. The cost of living was just too much. Add to this the challenge of finding employment. With her limited language skills and lack of local connections, Amina found herself stuck in a daunting cycle of unemployment and poverty. The economic struggles didn't just affect Amina, it rippled out, impacting her children's education, their health, and their future. Her eldest son had to drop out of school to work, sacrificing his education at the altar of survival. The financial burdens at the border had effectively acted as a barrier, keeping them trapped in a life of hardship and uncertainty. This isn't just Amina's story. It's the narrative of countless others who, in search of safety and a better life, are instead met with overwhelming financial challenges at the borders of their supposed sanctuaries. The economic hurdles they face are not just roadblocks to their journey. They are walls that keep them from fully integrating into their new societies, from contributing to their new economies, and from living out the lives they dreamt of when they first made the decision to leave their homes. This narrative is a stark reminder of the financial hurdles many face at the borders. Now imagine being caught in the crossfire of a war fueled not by greed or power, but by religious beliefs. Consider the Middle East, a region that has experienced the brutal brunt of religious wars for decades. This isn't a mere clash of arms or a struggle for territory. It's a battle of ideologies, a war of faiths. Here, differences in religious beliefs have ignited conflicts that have lasted generations, consuming lives and livelihoods. These wars don't just impact the soldiers on the front lines, they touch every aspect of life for the ordinary people caught in their path. Imagine a mother, desperate to protect her children from the daily threat of violence, or a young student, yearning for an education but forced to abandon his dreams because his school has become a battleground. Local economies too bear the scars of these religious wars. Shops and businesses are often shuttered, their owners either fleeing for safety or forced to close down due to the instability. The ripple effects of such economic devastation can be felt far beyond the immediate conflict zone, leading to widespread unemployment and poverty. Moreover, the social fabric of these communities is often torn apart. Neighbors who once lived peacefully side by side, sharing meals and celebrations, find themselves on opposite sides of an ideological divide. The sense of community, of shared humanity, becomes lost in the midst of these religious wars. And the psychological toll, it's incalculable. The constant fear, the loss, the trauma, these are burdens that individuals carry with them long after the guns have fallen silent. Yet amid the devastation, there are stories of resilience, of communities coming together to rebuild, of individuals refusing to let their faith be used as a weapon of war. These are the stories that give us hope, that remind us of the power of humanity to rise above even the most dire of circumstances. Religious wars continue to cause untold suffering around the globe. But as we witness the strength and resilience of those affected, it's clear that the spirit of humanity can endure, even in the face of such profound challenges. Finally, picture yourself living in conditions that strip you of your basic human rights. That's a thought that sends a chill down your spine, isn't it? But for millions globally, it's not a hypothetical scenario, it's their bitter reality. Let's take a moment to delve into a case study that lays bare the harsh reality of inhumane living conditions. Imagine a place where skyscrapers and slums share the same skyline. Here in the slums, people live in cramped spaces, sometimes no larger than a small closet. The air is thick with the stench of uncollected garbage and untreated sewage. The roads, if you can call them that, are nothing but narrow, muddy paths. Clean water is a luxury few can afford. They rely on contaminated water, which often leads to waterborne diseases. Food is scarce and malnutrition is rampant. And then there's the lack of basic sanitation facilities, which poses a grave threat to their health and dignity. This is not a scene from a dystopian novel. This is the stark reality of life in many slums and refugee camps around the world. It's a fight for survival, where every new day is a testament to their unyielding spirit and resilience. But it's not just about physical hardships. The psychological impact is equally devastating. The constant fear of eviction, the stigma associated with poverty, the lack of access to quality education, and the despair of a seemingly endless cycle of hardship. We live in a world that has made incredible strides in technology, medicine, and space exploration. Yet we've failed to ensure the most basic human rights for everyone. The struggle for survival in these inhumane conditions is a harsh reality that we often choose to ignore. But it is a reality nonetheless. And it's high time we stopped turning a blind eye to it. We need to realize that ensuring basic human rights is not a privilege, but a responsibility. A responsibility that we owe to our fellow human beings and to ourselves as a part of this global community. Inhumane living conditions are a harsh reality for many around the world, and it's up to us to change that. How do these crises affect the world at large? When we talk about the global impact of these issues, we need to consider the economic repercussions, the displacement of people, and the social unrest that follows. Let's delve into each of these aspects. Economic repercussions are often the first domino to fall in this chain reaction. When financial burdens pile up at borders, economies destabilize. Trade is disrupted, prices fluctuate, and markets become volatile. This isn't just a problem for the nations directly involved. In our interconnected global economy, a shock in one corner of the world can send ripples across the entire financial ecosystem. But the impact isn't just economic. These crises also displace people, leading to a global refugee crisis. Families are torn apart. Individuals are forced to abandon their homes, their jobs, their lives. They embark on perilous journeys, seeking safety and a chance to rebuild. This mass movement of people puts a strain on host countries, causing social and economic tensions. It's a domino effect where one crisis begets another. And then there's social unrest. Religious wars and inhumane living conditions can spark public outrage, both within the affected countries and around the world. Protests, demonstrations, and calls for change can disrupt daily life and create a climate of fear and uncertainty. This unrest can further destabilize nations, leading to political change, or, in some cases, even more conflict. In short, these crises don't exist in a vacuum. They're like stones thrown into a pond, causing ripples that spread outwards, touching shores far from where they were first cast. They affect us all, in ways we may not even realize. From the prices we pay at the grocery store, to the news we read, to the very fabric of our global community. The ripple effects of these crises reach far beyond their immediate locales. In the end, we're all connected. The challenges of one nation, one community, one individual, they're our challenges too. And it's up to us to face them together. As we reflect on these sobering realities, the question remains, what can we do about it? The answer is threefold. Firstly, educate yourselves. The world is a vast and complex place, and understanding the intricacies of these crises is the first step towards combating them. Dive into literature, attend seminars, watch documentaries, immerse yourself in knowledge. Secondly, raise awareness. Use your voice, your platform, your influence to spread the word. Engage in meaningful conversations, challenge the status quo, and don't shy away from these uncomfortable topics. Finally, support the organizations that are on the front lines. Whether it's through volunteering your time, donating your resources, or amplifying their message, every bit of support counts. We have the power to make a difference, to turn the tide, to create a better world, but it starts with us. It starts with you. Remember, change starts with you. Please like, share, and subscribe to keep these conversations alive.